Well, here at CattleCon 2025 in San Antonio, Texas, Buck Wehrbein, a cattle producer out of Nebraska, assumed the presidency of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association for the coming year. And we're lucky enough to have Buck with us on the program today. Thank you so much, Buck. It's quite an honor, I would have to assume, to now be the president of America's largest and oldest livestock organization. And let's just start from the beginning. I mean, talk a little bit about your family, your operation in Nebraska, and I guess what even kind of got you going and wanting to step up into leadership roles.
We moved to the Texas Panhandle in 1979. I wanted to get back into the cattle business, having grown up in it, but no opportunity family-wise, and so highest concentration on cattle on feed in the world. So we moved down there and went to work at Randall County Feed Yard outside of Amarillo, and just kind of moved up there. And 65,000 head feedlot back then. It's bigger than that now, and kind of grew up in the commercial cattle feeding down there and ended up getting involved with Texas cattle feeders. Local cattleman named Jay O'Brien nominated me for the Young Cattlemen's uh, tour and program, and encouraged me to get involved, and that began a long time of being involved in association work, and have really enjoyed it. And Richard McDonald was their exec down there, and that's as good as it gets for a mentor to begin with. And we ended up moving back to Nebraska 20 years later in 1999 and got involved with the Nebraska Cattlemen, and then was encouraged to run for Nebraska Beef Council on the checkoff side, which I did, and spent 8 years immersed in the checkoff. And I wish everybody could, all of our members and all of our producers could see how that money is spent, and the deliberations and the serious nature that producers engage in to do that. There'd be the people that don't have confidence would have confidence if they actually saw the process. And so that got me involved in NCBA because I was on the executive committee as a revenue seat from Nebraska on the Federation of State Beef Council side. And when that course ran out after 8 years, then I had to decide, well, am I going to back away, or what am I going to do? And I was encouraged to move over to the policy side.
Mhm.
And I told all the checkoff people I was going over to the dark side then, and so I interviewed for vice chair of policy and was elected, and then of course the chair, and
Yep.
and then was encouraged to get into the officer chain. And I want to be clear that through all these processes, I had people that I respected who had done more than I had encouraged me to do that. And so it was much more out of response to that than it was out of some personal ambition. And I think my grandfather probably instilled in me the desire to serve something larger than yourself, your church, for instance. And of course, if you love this business like we all do, if you can give back, that's a good thing. So it's been a long ride, and very enjoyable, and I hope I've done some good.
Oh, I think you have, Buck. And here we are. You're now the president of NCBA. You've had some time to think about what you were hoping to bring to the table when you took the gavel and took the reins of the association for the coming year. Describe what some of your goals are as you now assume NCBA presidency.
Sure. When you scatter the riders, when you operate a feedlot or a cow herd or a ranch, that's management. That's taking care to tail and so on and so forth. In this kind of work, that's what the staff does, and we provide leadership. And leadership and management are not exactly the same. And so I'm looking forward to being supportive of our staff, which is so good.
Mhm.
The members at the absolute grassroots level create the policy, and members will create the long-range plan that will guide the checkoff for the next 5 years. We'll create a strategic plan this year that will guide the staff. And so it's not so much accomplishing something as making sure that things stay on track, and that the staff knows that we leaders have their back. And we're very fortunate to have strong staff, and so I see it as a lot of leadership and not management. Something that I would like to see happen is our members, especially the older people like myself, to watch and see the young people coming up. Sandy, my wife, and I were on the Young Cattlemen's tour this summer, and boy, was I impressed with the youngsters. And I was on it back in '92, like I said, nominated for it, '92, '3, whenever it was, and a long time ago. And these kids are more prepared. They know the issues. They're able to express themselves. I don't know that they're any better business-wise than we were back then, but we were not prepared like they are. And so uh, I want to encourage us to do what people did for me, and encouraged me. And anywhere along the line, I could have backed away, but I chose not to. And so these young people just need encouragement, and someone to mentor them. And then I would encourage the youngsters to find somebody and see if somebody can serve as a mentor for them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've been talking about the YCC tour, the Young Cattlemen's Conference and Tour, and you went in the early 90s. I went on it in 2001. We both got our YCC
Yeah,
pins on our lapels, and boy, you know, it's an incredible experience. And of course, you know, state affiliates are always looking for young cattlemen and cattlewomen to participate in it. But it just also goes to show the dedication that NCBA itself has to encourage the next generation to get more involved and hopefully, you know, step into leadership roles so we can have future NCBA leaders.
correct. Uh, and that's on the association side. And many of us have talked about what could we do to sort of facilitate. Uh, there's a lot of transitions going to happen with ranches and farms and so forth, and not everybody has uh, children that are going to step in. And so, is there some way we could help facilitate a young person that doesn't have that opportunity to get connected to an older couple that have the asset, and get them together somehow? There's got to be a way to encourage that. So it's not only on the association work service there, but also in helping these young people uh, get get into the business, because we're everything is so high, land, cattle, everything. To try and break into the business as a young person is, boy, that's daunting. And so that's not a goal of mine this year. That would be an ongoing thing, but it's something that I would also, I'll encourage our staff to see it. How can we do that? How can we facilitate those people getting together? Obviously, we're not going to do anything and to cause it to happen, but if they can just meet each other.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some policy issues now. Of course, here at CattleCon, NCBA outlined some of their key priorities for the coming year. You've been obviously intimately engaged with some of that discussion. What are some of the key policy issues that NCBA is going to be working on behalf of its members and in reality, non-members?
We hoped coming out of 2024 that we would have had a farm bill. And G.T. Thompson shepherded a farm bill out of the House that was very, very good for us, good for cattle people. And then it languished in the Senate. Well, now we have GT and Senator Thune, who actually cares about the farm bill and agriculture, and I have high hopes that can work out. It probably won't be quick, but that we can get that done this year, and that's a big one, and keep the key components of that in place, like the vaccine bank and so forth, that were so good for us, and to keep those things there. We've got the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that will expire the end of this year. That was a big piece of legislation that got President Trump 45 got through,
Yeah.
and so we know he's going to be on our side, and so maybe we can get that reauthorized or even improved, and that is so critical, as I said, with the value of land and so forth, and as you transition, I mean there could be operations that are lost because of the tax burden if we don't get that reauthorized. So the election made us all have a sigh of relief on that, and we feel really good about it. But it's still a lot of hard work, and it will take time.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we could literally spend all day here, but unfortunately, we don't have all day to sit here and talk policy and all the happenings of the U.S. beef cattle industry. But I want to wish you the best of luck this coming year as you step into the role of president of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, and we're certainly all pulling for you, and we wish you the best. Again, we've been visiting with Buck Wehrbein, a Nebraska cattleman, and the new 2025 president of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, of course, coming to you this week from here at CattleCon in San Antonio, Texas. Again, for more information about NCBA and all the hard work and good work that they're doing every single day back in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere, you can jump online and visit ncba.org.